Hello.
Hey Adam, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Today we are talking about how to increase your chances of getting into your dream school.
Dream school.
Dreamy. Not my dreamy school. Did you have a dream school?
I did.
What was it?
It was, so first it was Columbia University.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was West Point Military Academy.
West Point.
Yeah.
You wanted to get your tail kicked all over
A
the
little
place?
bit, yeah. Something about being of service.
That's
to that
awesome.
degree.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Mine was Pepperdine, but only after I visited Pepperdine. So I was like, dang, this place is gorgeous. So today we're going to talk about how to increase your chances of getting into your dream school. There are ways of doing this, very specific ways. Today's show is brought to you by ThrivantStudentResources.com. At Thrivant Student Resources, there's all sorts of tools and tips and tricks and articles and things that can help students succeed in their path of getting into not just their dream school, but any school, right? Mm-hmm. Including how to save money, how to decrease expenses, how to blast away debt, all sorts of great tools out there. Today we're talking about increasing your chances, and there's a number of ways, so let's dive in.
Yeah. So first thing that we want to cover is the academic side, right? So looking at your GPA or grade point average. Most colleges will really look at your freshman, sophomore, junior, and then maybe senior, like first semester, but it's not as important as freshman, sophomore, and junior year. Now, it's not to say that your senior year is not important and you can kind of, coast. I definitely did, but I maintained a level of, just to maintain that my GPA was still at the level where I wanted it, but really being able to invest and put in the time to study for tests and get good grades as while you're 9th, 10th, and 11th grade is extremely important because it shows to the college admissions that you're someone that can put in the work and receive good grades for it.
Not to mention the fact that if you were trying to dig yourself out of a hole from your freshman or sophomore year, it is very, very challenging versus setting yourself up for success right away. That way, if you had a down semester, maybe your second semester junior year or first semester senior year, your GPA is not going to take as much of a hit. So it's much easier to weather the storm of maybe a slightly poorer grade your junior or senior years than it is to try and dig yourself out of the hole from your freshman and sophomore year.
Yeah.
Cool. Also on the academic front, let's talk about test scores. So one of the ways to increase your chances of getting into your dream school is to have a very high test score, be that the ACT or the SAT. Mm-hmm. And what's happening in today's college environment is many schools now are accepting what's called a super score. And a super score is where they take your highest scores from each of the times you've taken the test to create a composite or aggregate score. So if you've taken the ACT as an example, which happens in the Midwest, and you've taken the ACT 3 times, and the third time you got a higher composite score, but maybe you got a lower score on math or English than you did on one of the other ones, they'll actually take the higher score of a previous test and build that into your super score. So what I encourage students to do is take those tests, take them as many times as you feel necessary, at least 2 and probably 3, maybe 4 if you need to get a higher score, but study in between each one. And here's the logic. The higher your score, the better you look to that dream school, and the more likely you are to make some level of scholarship or grant money, assuming that you have a high score and a high GPA.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Cool.
The other thing is, in terms of being able to increase your chances of getting into your dream school is really looking at AP or IB credit courses. Now, AP is Advanced Placement, and IB is International
Baccalaureate. Correct, yep.
And these are, it does 2 things. One, it can actually increase your GPA that much more. So, for example, I took a number of AP courses, and that getting A's in them allowed me to actually have higher than a 4.0 GPA. I think I graduated with a 4.3 GPA, but it was because of AP classes.
That was a flex. Did you see him? He just did it.
Slight flex. But that does 2 things. It can increase your GPA in the case that you had an off semester, right? Yeah. But also it communicates and sends a message to the college admissions that you are someone who is actively seeking college level courses, right, and that you can actually perform well in them. So that is one way. AP and IB. We didn't have IB where I was, but we definitely had AP.
AP classes for sure.
as a way to increase visibility.
Yep. Here's the other way to another step in increasing your odds of getting into your dream school is participate in leadership activities. So whether that be student government leadership, or perhaps you're more of a volunteer leader, so you're volunteering in your community, but you hold that leadership level and you do it for as many years as you can throughout high school, and then you articulate what you learned through that leadership experience on what's really important, and that is your personal essay. So number one, leadership. Number two, writing about it in that personal essay. A lot of times you'll find students will become very modest about what it is they've done, when in reality, you actually need to put some of those accomplishments forward, because as you probably know, you're going to be competing with the cream of the crop across the country, really across the world. Yeah. To get into some of these dream schools. Yeah. So you want to put your best foot forward. It's about marketing yourself and making sure that they know that you've got some accomplishments under your belt.
Yeah. Now, are there any other ways that you would recommend in terms of making sure you can kind of get a third perspective so that you are saying the things that are important? Any tips there?
Yeah, I think that personal statement is not just something that a student writes, but it's something a student writes, a parent reviews, your English teacher reviews, maybe a leader in the community reviews for you. Get as many points of view as possible on that personal essay, that personal statement. Because again, when you're in front of a panel of people who are deciding whether or not you should be admitted into this school, or a variety of hundreds of other people should be admitted, they're going to that personal essay and they're reading it, and they want to be moved by whatever it is you're saying. It really should talk to how you want to grow on their campus, what kind of contribution you want to make, both to the campus and to the world at large, and why you think you are a really good fit for that particular school. And if you maybe are someone who doesn't feel like you can articulate that well, definitely ask for help. That's what your educators and your parents and your friends are there for.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
So there's a beautiful blog post on Thrivent Student Resources called How to Make Yourself Irresistible to College.
I like that.
So we're going to make sure that it's in this link here. You can click it, read it, dive into all the different resources at Thrivent Student Resources. Is there anything else that you want to say, Adam?
The only thing around that is make sure when you go to thriventstudentresources.com, you sign up for an account there. It basically takes your email address and a password. Once you're signed in, you have access to all sorts of free tools, lots of great articles, resources, videos, some of them featuring yours truly.
Oh.
And there's so much good content out there. And I speak from experience. I've been on 750 college campuses, and I'm now starting to tour campuses as a parent. So I'm understanding what this process looks like with my daughter. There is great stuff at thriventstudentresources.com. Check that out. Check out the links below. And if you like this stuff, leave us a comment down below on the YouTube channel, or send us an email if you're listening to us on the podcast. questions@masteryofmoney.com. We are here for you. See you next time.